Welcome to the Mother-Daughter-ish podcast. It's your mama's favorite podcast.
And the podcast your daughter always wanted.
This is Miss Dawn.
And Angelique.
From the 713. Houston, y'all. Get connected and stay connected weekly as new shows debut on Sunday, Wednesday, and please check out our Saturday Out and About showcases.
Enjoy the show. Please subscribe, like, share, comment, and tell every woman on the planet that you know about our show.
Here's our show for today.
Hey mothers and daughters, I'm back again. Thought I would share just some interesting facts with you that I found as I was looking online. And I just thought it was very, very interesting just looking at the numbers of what I'm about to share. And I am going to go state by state, so bear with me here. Again, I'm going to be talking about the salary a single person needs to earn by each state just to get by. We're not talking about to just really do some things. We're talking about just to get by. So I want you to put that in a little bit of perspective. I want you to think about if you're just barely getting by but you want to start a business, if you're just barely getting by but you want to have a savings, if you're just barely getting by but you want to be able to treat yourself every now and then, if you're just barely getting by and your beauty cost is overextended, if you're just barely getting by and you need to upgrade your wardrobe because you've lost 50 pounds, if you're just barely getting by, these are just salaries per state for a single person to just barely get by. So when I say some of these numbers, they're going to sound really low, but again, just remember, this is the barely getting by part that I'm talking about. So in Alabama, it's $46,577. Yes, you heard me right. Oh, also keep this in mind. Some states, the cost of living is a lot less than other places. Like in Texas, it's going to be a lot less than something like a California. But I'm just kind of mentioning that because I needed you to kind of understand where I'm coming from with this. And this is according to the federal government. This is not my making this up. Alaska is $71,570. I can definitely see that. Arizona, $60,026. Arkansas, $47,111. So you could either live in Alabama or Arkansas if you only need that $46,000 to $47,000. California, $80,000. Now remember, this is just to barely get by. $80,013. Let me tell you something. A 5-year level human resource officer in Cy-Fair School District, starting out just having 5 years of experience, only earns about $26,000 to $33,000. So California, their medium salary just to get by, you would have to earn $80,000, and I'm sure that's because cost of living is just so expensive. I can never forget when I went to California, maybe the second or third time I decided to go through different neighborhoods and all that stuff to just kind of see what their houses look like and, you know, look it up and see what they cost and everything. And I'll never forget, I saw a house that looked like it was probably about 900 square feet. It had no front yard, no side or anything. It had no gate, or it was in just a regular neighborhood. And when I looked up the house, it was half the size of mine or less. When I looked up the house, it was almost $1 million and something. Now, that was mid-2000s. So today that house is probably worth millions and millions of dollars, and so California is quite expensive to stay. Plus I have friends that are in California and they talk about it all the time. They love the prestige of being in California, but not necessarily the cost of being associated with being a resident of California. Colorado, $59,218. I can see that. Connecticut, $63,078. So Connecticut and Arizona is about a $3,000 difference there. Not bad. And if I had to choose out of Connecticut and Arizona, I probably would pick Arizona. Because then I could be close to Sedona and some other places. So that's my thinking. Delaware, which is a place that I have not been through, but not to. But it's only 56 because I heard they had really beautiful white sand beaches, but 56,751. Florida, 57,064. Ooh, so if I had to choose between Delaware and Florida, I probably would go to maybe Florida because of the beaches and the Keys, Key West, and all of that, and proximity that it's close to the Bahamas. So yeah, Georgia. This is like the Atlanta, Georgia area, not the Georgia we were talking about the other day. That's a little island off of a coast in a European country. Hawaii. Now, listen to Hawaii, and then I want you, as I go along, to compare Hawaii to something else that's like this. So Hawaii is $112,411. That's just to barely get by. So listen, if you're talking about you're going to retire and move to Hawaii, make sure you have your ducks in a row. And that's on an annual basis I'm talking about. Idaho, 58,634. Illinois, 40,372. Indiana, 49,855. Iowa, 48,518. Kansas, 47,379. And Kentucky, 47,318. So that gives you a good idea on what you need to be looking forward to. Now, I'm going to, when I get to the end of this show, I'm going to cut it and I'm going to come back and I'm going to talk about what you need to retire. That's going to blow your socks off. Louisiana, pretty fair place. I like Louisiana. I had an office there from 2014 to 2019 and a studio apartment there, and I loved being there. We were building some programs over in Louisiana, but when we realized some things that we could not change that should have been changed, we got out of there, and we did it in record time because a year after that, then of course the pandemic happened. But Louisiana is $50,087. Maine, $60,862. Maryland is $67,915. Massachusetts is $87,909. Michigan, $50,049. So Michigan and Louisiana are right there together with about about $35 difference. $35 difference. Wow. Minnesota, 51,668. I've just always liked to say Minnesota like that because it has soda on the end, but it's sota, but I say soda. Mississippi, Mississippi. I mean, I tell you, when you're in school, they do a number on you. They make you remember how to spell those letters, just like they do with the ABCs. $45,906 for Mississippi, so that's even better than Louisiana. Louisiana, remember, was $50,087. Mississippi is only $45,906. Okay. Missouri, $47,771 just to get by. Montana, $57,056. So right there with maybe about $7,000 more than Louisiana. But Montana, $57,056, so not bad. Nebraska, $49,009. Now, I remember one time in 2007, I went to I went to Toronto, Canada, and I met the nicest lady from Nebraska. I thought that we were going to really be cool professionally, and that, you know how sometimes you meet people on a business level and you just say to yourself, hey, we could be cool. Like, that could be a friend of mine. And when I say friend, I mean like we could be cool. We could talk business and all that stuff. We had a really, really great time. And I always, wanted to connect with that lady from Nebraska. But you know how sometimes you meet people and then they just don't follow up. And then at some point you realize, okay, well, I'm worth following up with. So if you don't follow up with me after I followed up with you, you just let it go. So that's kind of how I let it, and that happened, and that was in 2007. So we're in 2023 on the cusp of 24. Nevada, $58,580. New Hampshire, $62,935. New Jersey, I've always wanted to say Jersey. So New Jersey is $64,463, right up there with New Hampshire, which is not very far from it. New Mexico, I love New Mexico. About 2 years ago, we went to Taos, New Mexico, and to Red River, New Mexico, to go snowmobiling. It was the best experience ever. The people were nice. The town was nice. The skiing experience was immaculate. The snow was absolutely beautiful. The pictures that I have, Whew, let me tell you, it just don't even do it any justice, the pictures that I have. But you can get the gist by looking like, wow, that looks fake. It's so beautiful, it looks fake. But New Mexico is only $51,214. I actually think I want to go snowmobiling there in February or March. But I think this time I want to go to the Santa Fe part. I've been looking up resorts. New York, 73,000. I thought New York was actually going to be higher. 73,226. And I'm thinking that that depends on which part of New York you go to, because I went on a road trip with Mini Takes the States, and that was 2022. I'm sorry, 20. It was 2022, yes, because the next one is in 24. 2022, and we went on some of the back roads of New York. We went through Syracuse and all that, and it just was very regular. It wasn't as expensive looking as I thought that it would be, and I saw some real cool people that I'm just like, okay, they're not hoity-toity or, acting like people think New York people act, and which is not true, because I used to go to New York about 2 or 3 times a year, but of course we stayed in Times Square, but we would visit Brooklyn, we would visit Harlem, we would visit Soho area. We would just go to all kinds of places. We even would cross the bridge and do things like that. So I do miss going to New York, and I wish things were back the way they were, because I would at least like to go once a year as opposed to the 3 times a year I used to go. But now I have switched it for going to Mexico 3 times a year. So anyway, North Carolina, $53,531. So if you notice, that's only $3,531 more than Louisiana, which all of that is south, so I can completely understand. North Dakota. Now, I thought about going snowmobiling there last year, but I ended up going to Utah, and my son went with me, which was really fun because it was the oldest one, first time going. But North Carolina is 52,507. I'm sorry, $52,807. Ohio, 50,157. Okay? Interesting. Oklahoma. I was proud of them. I'm not even going to joke. I was very proud. And we haven't even gotten to Texas yet, but I went through this list, but then I wiped it from my mind because I wanted to be just a surprise to be able to give this to you just good and raw. Because I like when I can do my show natural and use real surprises, and I like to do it like it's the first time I'm seeing it right along with me telling you. But anyway, Oklahoma, I was very proud of them. It's only $46,024, so I was very happy to see that their pricing was very, very, very fair as far as what a single person could live off of in Oklahoma. You also have to live with the tornadoes and all of that stuff that we have over here in the South, but we call them Tornado Alley. But don't tell nobody from Oklahoma I said that. And if you're on here listening, you're from Oklahoma. Just kidding. Oregon, 65,763 just to get by. Pennsylvania, I was there at the Hershey Hershey, yeah, at the Hershey factory in Hershey, Pennsylvania 2 years ago, and I had a ball. They have a theme park, and if you've got a family and you're looking for different places that are unique to go to, take the kiddos and the teens and tweens and the family to Hershey, Pennsylvania. It is a very nice opportunity. Hotel attached to the theme park, the stores where you can go in and get the chocolate. There's almost like a whole mall situation where you can go in. There's food courts, there's a theater, there's all kinds of fun things there. I really, really enjoyed it as an adult, so I know children would love it. $53,838. Rhode Island. I went to Rhode Island one year for my birthday, and I can't remember if that was 2016 or 17. It probably was 15 or 16, something like that, for my birthday. And I had a really, really great time. I was there by myself. I saw so many lighthouses. It was exciting. I went on walking tours with groups of people I didn't know. I went down to the beach area, went over by Taylor Swift's house. I went down that one popular street that starts with a W that I can never remember. But I can look it up while I'm talking to you. But anyway, it was really, really exciting to be there and I wanted to see the lighthouses. So what is that popular street in Rhode Island near the beach? The other thing that I did is I took a city tour in like the little bus thing and got all of the history and all of that stuff. I wasn't proud of the history, but I was like, you know what, this is not my town. I'm not going to be tripping about that. Oh, I got the letter wrong, y'all. It don't start with a W. I don't know why I wanted it to be so bad, windswept or something like that. But it's called Thames Street. It's in Newport, Rhode Island. Let me take a screenshot of that because I might take a ladies' trip with some ladies there. But it's Thames Street. I bought some of the most beautiful jewelry, shirts, all kinds of stuff. It's just like a whole row of shopping. So if you've ever been to Austin and you've gone on 6th Street, if you've ever been in Louisiana, in New Orleans, and you've gone down Canal Street, you know there's plenty of shopping and specialty shops and things to do. And so that's what I did while I was on Thames Street. But I literally was by myself, and there was just so many people out there. Nobody cared. I didn't care what they were doing. They didn't care what I was doing. Plenty of food, plenty of beverages, plenty of activities to do, plenty of shopping on the left and the right. I started on one side and went all the way down until the traffic died up. Then I turned and went the other way to get back with all the traffic. There was like a park in the middle, waterfall. I mean, it was really awesome. But Rhode Island, 59,936. I really thought that one was going to be in the 70s just because of the area. We did North Carolina, but now South Carolina, which is 52,222, which I found that to be very delightful as well, because a lot of people say that South Carolina is a really nice place to be. South Dakota, we already did Dakota, but South Dakota, 52,095. I'm just impressed with South Dakota. I may have to put them actually on my list for 25 to go snowmobiling, because I did find a lot of wonderful snowmobiling out in the Dakotas. Tennessee, 48,774. I am proud to tell you that my ladies travel group, we went to Pigeon Forge, Tennessee in May for that holiday. I think that's what, Labor Day or something. We went to Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. We went to Gatlinburg, Tennessee. And when I tell you we had a great time eating, we had a great time on the main highway of Pigeon Forge. Is a complete scenery of activities, of things to do. They have the big replica Titanic boat. They've got an upside down White House that when you go in, there's all kind of activities. They have a photo shoot place that's made out of a big giant camera from the outside with these beautiful hands of nails. When I tell you it was adventurous, it really was. We girls really had a great time, and then we also got a chance to go over to the theme park that's there as well and took great pictures and had a great time, and you know, got in the cable cars and went up really high. But anyway, Tennessee, $58,774. Now my baby is on here and she is hitting just right. Go Texas, go Texas, go, 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 go. Okay, so Texas is only $497 more than Louisiana. It's $50,497. So I'm going to go back over here to California because we had so many people moving in. As a matter of fact, there was a time when they were saying we were having 30,000 Californians moving into Texas weekly. So to live in California is $80,013. So to imagine them moving to Texas and it's only $50,497. Their retirement monies or their online monies are going to go a long way. Whatever kind of jobs they have that they either transferred over here, or they're working from home, or they're already established their net worth and wealth and all of that. I love it. Texas, $50,497. Now I see why Texas is so attractive to live in. Now I see why Tennessee is so attractive to live in, because we still have forward-thinking minds and things, as opposed to some of the other states that I listed on here that are still quite backward. I'm not going to say which ones, but you've listened to me and you should know. Utah, $55,293. So just $5,293 more than us. And I find that very, very, very hard to believe, because my son actually lives in Salt Lake City, Utah. And I could have just vowed that it would have been about $70,000 to live there. But I guess it depends on how you're living and what your living expenses are. And you know, that's the thing right there. I just had this conversation with somebody yesterday, and we were talking about living expenses. And actually had it with somebody again today talking about living expenses and saying, like, for example, when you uproot from one location and you move to another location and you have to get a new job and start all over, sometimes you crawl before you walk, and more often than any time, that's what happens. You crawl before you walk, and maybe the nice upscale location that you were in another more upscale city is not what you're going to move in here. I'm not saying move into a dump. I'm just saying that maybe things will be different and that you will have to almost sacrifice something, whether it's a cut in salary until you get there, you prove yourself and go on and do that. Now, that's only for those who don't have what it takes to start their own business so they can make their own decisions to do what it is that they need to do to be successful and to have the living that they want. I know when I was in corporate America in the 90s, and when I left in the 90s, all I knew is what the end result was. I just knew that when my last child, and my babies were in diapers when I'm talking right now, two in elementary school and two in diapers, I just know that I wanted to be able to be anywhere at any time doing anything I want to do on any day when the last child graduated from high school. So this child that I'm talking about was in diapers and was having a bottle. So this baby wasn't even 1 year old at that point. Then my mind was thinking that way. But when I left my corporate job, it wasn't because I hated it, because I actually loved it. And it gave me everything that I needed. It gave me the perfect hours. I had no problems with anyone. It was very good for me and good to me, but I wanted to see my kids go to school and see them come home from school. So that was my reason for leaving my corporate job, which I loved. And working in the call center was just really awesome. I learned everything that has gotten me to the business that I've done for 28 years. Working in that call center for that Fortune 500 company at that time is what got me here. If I had not gotten the skills and the articulation and the patience and the know-how and the oomph and the training skills, me training them and speaker skills, I wouldn't be where I am right now. So I do attribute it to that company, and I'm so grateful for it. And so I left on good terms, and if I wanted to go back, I'm sure I could. Utah, let's go back. Texas, 50,497. Utah was 55,293. Vermont, was in Vermont 2 years ago on that road trip. By the way, we started in Dallas, went all the way up through Tennessee, all the way up through New York, all the way down through to North Carolina, through Atlanta, and back home to Texas. So when I keep referencing I did all this on a road trip, it's because it was a 3-week road trip. So you can only imagine. We went through a lot of states and had a really great time. Looking forward to 2024. We're actually starting in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and I've already started to put my preliminary schedule together, and I cannot wait until the next 4 weeks when this list comes out, because I'm going to be as happy as a bug in a rug. I hope that it comes out while I'm on my cruise in a couple of weeks, so that when I get back and I click on that Facebook post or whatever, it's just laid out for me, because I'm going to already be putting my little booklet together that I'll be keeping tally of everything for myself. But Virginia, 57. I was super surprised about Virginia. Vermont, I figured 65 to 70,000, but they're at 65,923. But Virginia, I thought it was going to be in the 60s, high 60, like 69, but it's 57,293, if you can believe that. And then Washington, I was super shocked about Washington. I looked at this list and was like, I don't know if I can trust it after seeing Washington. But $65,640. Now, we only have 3 more, so I'm about to wrap this up. Today is all about what is the basic salary that you have to earn just to get by in a city, by each city. West Virginia, let me tell you something. West Virginia almost put me on the floor. $47,732. It's unbelievable. That one was unbelievable. Wisconsin, yep. $53,122. I can believe that. They have a large Hmong community there. I've worked with some of them, so I can understand that. And then last is Wyoming. So that's 50 states. Last is Wyoming, 49,666. I wish they would have had Puerto Rico on here. I wish they would have had some other state, Guam, or some other American territories, U.S. territories, I should say. The only one they put on here is Hawaii. So I just wanted to share that with you, just in case you're looking at making a move, just in case you're looking at working from home and you end up getting a job that's in a whole nother city, and and you're just like, wow, I could do that. Just think about, they're going to hire you from the perspective of what their medium income just for you to get by is probably going to be there. So when we start talking about minimum wage and all these things, you need to know when you get ready to go to a different location and plant yourself there, what the medium income is that you need to earn just to even get by. Because if not, you're going to go to a place you're not going to know people, you're going to be by yourself, and you're going to come up short with no one to help you. Alrighty, that's my show today on what the median income is that you need to earn to live state by state. Remember, Texas is closed, but all of the other ones are open. Bye!